That is hardcore.
This is hardcore shit.
But for me, it gets harder and harder to resist.
Hello, kiddies, and welcome to Hardcore Horror with Mike and Brigitte.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hardcore Horror with Mike and Brigitte. This is Mike. Hello, Brigitte.
Hello, Mike. What's up?
Not much. Just hanging out.
Oh,
What's
it
new
sounded
with
like
you?
sounded like the Crypt Keeper was on with us there for a minute.
That's about as good as I can do.
Hey, it was actually pretty damn good. I was like, wow, I'm over here giggling to myself. That's pretty good. Love it. So we have a guest on tonight, and we'll talk to him a little bit later. Dalton Turner.
All right,
he's
local filmmaker.
Local to Tennessee.
Right.
He's a videographer, editor, writer, colorist. So we'll talk about some of the things he's been doing.
Nice.
But for now, I want to talk to you and see what you've been up to, what you've been watching.
So the one thing I want to talk to you about was, you're a collector. You like movies, physical copies, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed this or not. This kind of trend thing, but I feel like recently, more and more like discs are being made for all region. You know what I'm talking about? Like this, where like before they would make movies and they would lock them into the region, like region A, B, and C, and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, and you'd even have to buy like a specific player just
play it like
to play the.
right.
Well, it's funny because when I first learned about this, I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand the regions, but
right, and it was really silly because you can even swap your region on your player, but if you only do it like once or twice or something, it was locked forever or something, unless you had an all regions player. So anyway, I think that now a lot of them, especially a lot of these boutiques ones, are finally like realizing, hey, people from all over the world want the same stuff, kind of thing. And I get some of it because some of it is kind of like, some countries have different standards of what they're allowing stuff and all that. But I mean, unless it is banned or something, why not just have it readily available for everybody.
Right. It's funny you were saying this because when I first started collecting movies, I didn't know it was a thing. And I remember that year for Christmas, I had asked my mom, I was like, I really want like one of those players that plays like all the regions.
Right.
That's a thing. And
yeah.
So I did have one, but that's awesome that they're, kind of doing away with that because it just didn't make sense to me.
No, it never really did, and hopefully they all follow suit and just kind of release it all to to everyone because I mean even where I'm at, there's people other countries that want copies of my stuff, so it's always good, I mean if people in other countries have bought my stuff, they're buying other stuff way more popular here, so why lock it and then you miss out on the sales
and they're missing out on money. Exactly.
Right. Yeah. So, hopefully that changes. Next thing I want to talk to you about was, so I saw some interviews and stuff with some musicians talking about this, but I feel like we've talked about this with movies as well. Nine Inch Nails, Trent Reznor, you know who that is, right?
I've seen him in concert. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, he was talking recently. I think he said they weren't going to put it out anymore. Nine Inch Nails music at this time, anyways. But what the gist of what he basically was saying was just like how music is not really an event the way it used to be. It's just not really celebrated in the way that it kind of was. Not to say that music isn't so popular in its own way, but it's not the same as it was, and which I understand that completely. Growing up, I think in the kind of culture we did as opposed to now. Whereas now everything's so readily available as opposed to back then when it was more of a search and find sort of thing, and it was just a lot different, I feel like maybe it was a little bit more precious. Kurt Cobain once said something, he was saying something along the lines of like how he now had the money at that point, had the money to go into a record store and just buy the whole record store. And he said, and it was like, it's great, but at the same time, it doesn't sort of replicate that sort of amazement when you go in and you have like $5, you have to find some little treasure. and kind of just pick it out and like, listen to it over and over. And I think that's kind of where we are in culture, even and back to movies too. It's like we have so much, we're inundated constantly with, just things that we have never seen before because there's so much content out there. Do you think that sort of diminishes it a little bit?
So I have pros and cons for you. So
Okay.
maybe in a movie collector. So a movie collector, and I know we've talked about this before, but I like being able to take a little bit of money and going into even a used movie store or something and finding this movie, and then you can watch the bonus features and all of the extras on there. But then again, like with streaming movies, there's a lot of movies that I would have just never been able to see.
Right.
That you just couldn't find on like HBO back in the day,
Right.
So pros and cons to both. And I've thought about with musicians. I remember when Apple Music first came out. I remember like a lot of musicians were kind of pissed off about it, and I was like, damn, that was a big thing when they're like, we sold billions of records, but that's not really a thing for them anymore. A lot of them have to make their monies off of shows.
Well, you're right, and I think they still are pissed off about Apple and Spotify specifically. They really talk about that one a lot. They don't really get paid that much, from it, and which, that model, where you have a subscription and you listen to thousands and thousands of songs. How could all of them get that cut of the pie? So I can only imagine. I mean, shows obviously is where they make their money, but that is a totally different world than what it was 20, 30 years ago. So money wise, definitely a big factor for them. But I guess the thing is, like, yes, I agree with you that you can obviously, I mean, there's been tons of stuff I've been able to stream that I wouldn't have saw either had it not been for that. But do you, like, we talked about movies where I'm like, I think I've seen that. And I don't know if I saw that, and I forget because I don't remember them because I see too much. There is that, it's like, okay, growing up, I watched The Wizard of Oz a lot because The Wizard of Oz came on every year on like the regular
every year. I remember that.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, every year. Okay, but had I had the option to not watch it, maybe I wouldn't have. Like if I could go stream a million things, so it's like. We're in kind of like the beta testing of all this, so we'll see how it all ends up. But will anybody remember movies as fondly as we did growing up because you didn't watch them over and over and over again? Like I would watch this over and over again, but I've got a million other things to watch I haven't seen yet. That's in my queue. That's
me too. Like back growing up, especially in the 80s, when I was a kid. Oh my God, I'd watch like my favorite horror movie just over and over and over again, and they'd play them over and over and over again.
Right.
But now it's just like, oh my, I'll tell you. I text you a few days ago. I was like, hey, do you use like Letterboxd? And you're like, I used to. So the reason I started using Letterboxd is I always have a list of movies. Whenever someone's like, hey, check this movie out, I'll write it on a list on my phone, go back and try to find it and watch it. And I was watching a trailer and Tracy goes, Brigitte, we just watched this like a few months ago. I was like, oh my God. I didn't even hardly remember it because I watched that much. So Letterboxd,
exactly.
You can go and check it off on your watch list. And then you have to watch movies, and then you can also review them. That way, if you're like, I can't remember if I liked it or not, you can go make little notes about it. So I watched that many damn horror movies that I had to start doing that. So
and that's where I'm at as well. And so it's kind of like it does diminish a little bit of the sort of specialness of it in a way, because you're not really fully, I don't know, like there's something about the repeat viewings and the repeat listens to songs and stuff that you kind of, it gets ingrained in you. Whereas, you listen to it once and you go do something else, you listen to something else and you're watching something else and it just, you forget about it, I mean, unless something in that movie stands out, that like,
that's what I was going to say. God, it's got to be like really difficult for filmmakers, because if they don't capture me, like during the first watch, they might not get a second chance.
Right.
And
Yeah.
which kind of sucks because there's been movies that, that I've watched and I'm like, I didn't really like it. And a lot of people did. And I'm like, maybe I need to go do a rewatch on it. But so it's got to be really great to capture your audience and catch their attention. Damn, no pressure for like filmmakers these days. Damn.
Well, it's kind of funny. I wrote sort of a sci-fi-ish sort of story many years ago. This is about 2004, maybe 2005, early 2004, early 2005, something like that. I wrote this short story. It's called Zeitgeist, which is long before that movie or even the Smashing Pumpkins album. But the name of it was Zeitgeist, and the gist of it is I was thinking about this when everything was kind of coming into play. Like people, just anybody could make music and movies, And I was thinking like how it becomes so commonplace and becomes so oversaturated that people just stop doing it. So in my story, people stop making art completely because they just like completely are done with it. It's like taboo. It's like something you just don't do. The whole story revolves around getting back to art for a reason, but yeah, it's kind of like just because there's so much of it. And this was 20 years ago almost. So
did you ever follow through with that film?
No, it wasn't a film. It was just a short story. It was just a short story. Yeah. It was written sort of in film form, like so. But I never made it to a film. But I should have.
I was gonna say it's never too late because that actually sounds like something I would probably watch, and I can't recall any other movies out there like that. So
right, yeah, for sure. Speaking of watching, what have you been watching?
So I'll rattle off a few good ones.
Okay.
So let's see. So first thing I watched was, let me find my list. Swallowed. Have you seen Swallowed?
The Bush song? No, wait, that's not right.
It's a movie.
That's not right. Swallowed. Nothing's coming to mind. But
I think it just come out.
Oh, you mean swallow or not? Or swallow or swallowed?
I think Swallowed.
Swallowed sounds like an XXX. I don't.
Mark, you remember Mark Patton from Nightmare on Elm Street 2?
Yeah. Okay.
He was in this movie.
Okay. No, I don't think so.
Okay, so this one just came out last year.
Okay.
It's considered horror. I mean, it wasn't that scary, but I could see the idea. So it's basically about smuggling drugs, and how they smuggle the drugs is they have to swallow them.
Right.
And that Mark Patton. So I haven't seen him since Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
Right.
Haven't seen him since then. His acting was, it's great that he come back out and everything, and but it's worth a watch. Can't say it was one of my favorites, but I mean it was different. It was very different.
So when you said that, I thought you were talking about the movie Swallow. Have you seen that one? The one that came out in 2019?
What's funny is I'm trying to remember if I don't think so.
It's about the girl that's pregnant and she starts eating everything.
Oh no! Okay, I've read about. I didn't know she was pregnant, but she starts eating like nails and shit.
Yeah, that was pretty good. You should check that one out.
Oh, okay. It's probably better than this one. This one was just different, but it's kind of I thought it was a good movie to watch like in the month of June because of Pride Month, and so that's like a big thing. It's also have like a little love story tied into it, so it's worth a watch.
Okay.
So next one I watched was Hounds of Love. Have you seen this?
Oh yeah, I've seen this.
Okay. I don't know if we've talked about it or not. First time I watched it. I think it's on. You can stream it on Shudder. I did like the movie. So this one is about a girl that get abducted. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, by a couple. It kind of reminded me of a movie we had talked about it. I'd watched. I don't know if you have or not. Girl in the Box.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know if I watch it. I don't know if I watched it, but I know what you're talking about.
You still need to go and watch that one. So after you watch Girl in the Box, which is based off a true story,
Mm-hmm.
you go back and watch Hounds of Love, and you're like, I feel like they could have done a lot more with it, and it could have been a lot more extreme than what
Yeah.
it was.
I watched it years ago, and I went into it blind, but I did see that rating that like it was really like rated high on Rotten Tomatoes and stuff, and I did feel a little bit let down by it, but I enjoyed it okay. I mean, I thought it was all right, but I didn't. I thought maybe, of course, again, I don't really hold true too much to ratings, but I thought, wow, this is really rated really high to be so sort of middle of the road.
You said you watched it years ago. What year did that come out? What year did it come out?
Came out in 2016.
Oh, okay. So I didn't realize it was a few years old. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it come across my list. But yeah, I mean, it's worth a watch. It's worth checking out. I did like it.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of Girl in the Box, which I love. I love that movie. And maybe I like it because it is based. I mean, it's like so
Right.
close to what really happened. So definitely check that one out. So another movie I watched was Hidden in the Woods. Have you seen this one?
Hidden in the Woods. I don't think so.
So Hidden in the Woods is supposed to be an extreme movie.
Okay.
It's about two sisters who their mom their mom died when they were really young, and they're raised by their father, who's a drug lord, and he lives in a cabin in the middle of the woods. So, so although this movie has all the factors of extreme movies like rape, incest, child abuse, there's a lot of gore. It just didn't feel extreme to me.
Okay.
The editing was terrible. The editing of the movie was so damn choppy to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was almost at times hard to understand what was happening. Because the editing was like almost too quick and just kind of all over the place. I did read that they did an American remake of it, and
Really?
the American remake might be worth checking out because it's supposed to be exactly to a T like the original version. So
Wait, so your version was not.
it was not the American version, no.
Okay. I actually never heard of either one, but okay.
Okay, yeah, Hidden in the Woods. Another movie I watched was Honeymoon. Have you seen Honeymoon?
Yeah.
I think it was 2015.
The couple, and then the things start happening to her. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She also. It's funny. It's another abduction movie. So she gets
Right.
abducted by her neighbor, who's a medical doctor. I feel like this is also supposed to be an extreme movie, and I feel like there was some okay scenes in there, but I feel like they could have done a lot more with it.
Mm-hmm.
I checked it off my list. Probably wouldn't be one that I'd go and watch again. But
I probably do need to rewatch it because I remember too much about it. I mean, there's just bits and pieces of it, like enough to know that I watched it. So you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
Yeah. See, it's one of those things. It's one of the movies that sometimes you just have to go back and do a rewatch on it.
Mm-hmm.
So one more movie I want to talk about is Schramm.
Okay. Yeah.
Have you? So Schramm.
So I watched it a long time ago, but I didn't get to go back and rewatch it.
Damn. It's pronounced Schramm, but it's Schramm. So it's a German film about a fictional character called the Lipstick Killer, and I love this movie.
Yeah, I do remember really liking it.
Yeah. The gore was so much fun, and it started off gory at the very, very beginning.
Right.
There were some scenes in there that when like I can't ever say that I've ever seen someone having a sex the way this guy did with the blow up doll. I was like, oh my god, is this really happening? And there was, oh my gosh, I don't want to give a whole lot away, so without telling a whole lot, there was some really good extreme stuff in there. Look, I'm just gonna go and say, spoiler alert, okay? The scene where he runs the nail through his penis.
Oh yeah.
It looks so realistic to me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Like I almost like grabbed my crotch while watching it. I was like, oh my God. Oh, I was like, damn, it was really, really good. And what about the vagina monster? Remember the vagina monster?
Vaguely, yeah.
The vagina
Yeah.
monster, it's like so random. So this movie is about you're going into the mind of this serial killer. So there's a lot of crazy shit on it. But there's this thing, like a little monster. It almost looks like a heart, and it's hairy, and it's got teeth, but it's a vagina. It's like the craziest shit. Like this movie is so freaking good. And there's one last thing I want to say. Some if you remember this. There's a scene where he went out with his neighbor to dinner, and they're walking back to the apartment, and there's a guy sitting on the sidewalk, and it shows them, they walk by this guy and they go on about their business, and it looks like the guy just pulls a gun out and shoots himself, and the cameraman runs over there to check on him. Actually, it looks legit like, oh my God, this guy just killed himself on set. I actually went and looked it up.
I don't remember that.
So that was supposed to happen. That was the idea behind it, to make it really look like the guy was killing himself on movies. I was like, God, it's so genius. Like I've never seen that done before. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
So that's it for my list. Schramm, gotta watch Schramm.
Right. Yeah. When I get a chance, I will rewatch it for sure, because it has been a few years since I watched that one.
Okay.
So
yeah, what you been watching?
I've had a really sort of piss poor 2 weeks of watching horror films. Not really anything to write home about, to be honest. But I'll run through some with you.
Okay.
Nothing really amazing.
I hate when I have weeks like that. I'm like, damn it, if I watch another shit movie.
Yeah. The first thing I watched was a movie called Jessica.
Okay.
Now, don't ask me why it's Jessica. If they're trying to imitate Mike Tyson, I don't know. Her name is Jessica, but they named it Jessica. Anyway, it started out okay. It just didn't go where I thought it was going to go, and didn't go in a place I really enjoyed too much. It's not. It is. Well, it's on Screambox, but when Jessica's stalker surprises her in New Mexico, she must seek help from beyond the grave to get rid of him for good. So what happens is there's this girl, and she sees one of her old friends and invites her over, and she declines, but then her stalker starts chasing her, so she goes to her friend's house, and so what? It's like, it's supernatural sort of stuff. It's trying to be a comedy, but it's not really too funny. But anyway, the thing is she sees this guy, and she's like, that can't be him. That can't be him. It's like, yeah, that's your ex-boyfriend or whatever, or stalker rather. That's your stalker. And like, no, it can't be him, because she killed him and put him in the trunk of her car. But come to find out, he's a ghost, and it's on this sacred land. He can be there and stay there and haunt her. Like I said, it had potential. It just didn't go where I wanted.
I was gonna say, it sounded like they started off with an idea and then it just went into something else.
Yeah. I mean, it could have, if they actually made a little bit of horror to it, made it a little bit more suspenseful, I think it would have worked. Mm-hmm. It just kind of was just like, it's like a one joke kind of pony, so it doesn't really hold too much, really for me. So I bought this DVD. It had a bunch of horror movies, like a 20-pack horror movie thing. So I ran through some of those. Weren't that great. I'll just name them off. The Hunt for the BTK Killer. If you like watching movies about that guy, I mean, it was okay. It wasn't great. Vampires: The Turning, kind of like vampire martial arts stuff. Wasn't really that great. And stuff like that. Sea Creature, that one was okay. That one was pretty decent. It was about like this mermaid, a killer mermaid. But it's got a few people that you would probably recognize. Can't really think of their names offhand, but you could recognize them.
It's about killer.
Like a killer. Yeah, killer mermaid. Yeah.
It's funny. I tried to stream a movie about two killer mermaids called The Lure.
Hmm.
Have you seen The Lure?
Is that the one with the singing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah, that
Is
was
it
actually
good?
pretty good. Yeah,
Is
that
it
one was actually
so?
pretty good.
I tried to watch it, but I couldn't find it with English subtitles. So
Oh, yeah, it used to be on something. Can't remember. It might not be on there anymore, but it was on something, maybe Shutter, or Screenbox, or something years ago.
yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I did watch it. It is pretty good. It is. I think you would like it.
Okay.
Up next was a rewatch of See No Evil. You know that one with the wrestler guy. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty decent. You know. Up next was a rewatch of Spontaneous. Have you seen that one?
I don't think so.
It's the one. It's like a feel good rom-com horror.
Okay.
Does that make sense? It's where all of a sudden, this girl, and all these people in her school start blowing up, like just spontaneously combusting, but blood goes everywhere.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like everybody starts blowing up. So it's kind of like this whole thing where everybody's like, "Am I going to be next? Am I next?" You know.
I love it that's what you're calling a feel good movie.
It kind of is, though. I mean, it's not scary. It's not scary or anything like that. It's more of a like teenage horror, I would say.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. Yeah. It was. I mean, I like it. I like it. But it's not, again, horror or scary, really. Just
It's
a lot
okay,
but a lot of blood.
Your kiddos are in the next room over.
Right. Yes. A lot of blood, though. A lot of blood for sure. Up next was a new Shudder movie called Unwelcome. Have you heard of this one?
I don't think so.
Married couple Maya and Jamie escape their urban nightmare to the tranquility of a rural Ireland, only to discover malevolent and murderous goblins lurking in the ancient woods at the front of their garden. It's pretty decent, but it's literally about goblins, little creatures. It's like they have to feed them, and if they don't feed them, bad shit's gonna happen.
Oh.
Yeah, it's decent, and it's pretty decent. It's not as bad as it sounds, honestly. Up next was a rewatch of Warlock, kind of, I guess, sort of a tribute in honor of Gillian Sands.
I was going to say they just discovered.
Yeah.
They found his remains from where he was hiking and went missing.
Right. Yeah, very sad. Very sad. Of course, kind of figured that probably was going to be the outcome since he was gone for so long, missing for so long. But
yeah.
But yeah, I did a rewatch of the Warlock movie. Julian Sands, he was in some really cool stuff. My favorite one of his was Boxing Helena. We've talked about that one before. But he did all the Warlock movies, and he's been in a bunch of horror movies, kind of a staple in quite a few of them. So, it was always nice to see him pop up. But yeah, really, really.
I think he did really well in playing as the Warlock. I do think he did really well in that role.
Yeah,
for sure.
Up next was a new Netflix movie called Run Rabbit Run.
Run Rabbit Run.
Yeah, heard about this one?
I feel like I've seen it because when I remember seeing the title and it made me think of House of a Thousand Corpses. Right.
Sarah Snook plays a fertility doctor who believes firmly in life and death, but after noticing the strange behavior of her young daughter, she must challenge her own values and confront a ghost from her past. Decent movie. I wouldn't say great. Really figured out the twist long before it happened. If you've seen movies similar to this, you probably will too. It's something happens and all of a sudden her daughter's acting really creepy, really eerily. You just have to figure out why. But yeah, I mean, it's worth a watch, but nothing spectacular.
Okay. All right. That's the thing with so many movies. When you're like, oh, it was okay. I'm like, I'd rather watch one that's like, you're like, oh, this is good, because there's so many movies out there.
Right.
So that one's on your okay list.
I don't have a good one for you this week. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I hate weeks like that because I have them too. I get them too. So
yeah. Up next was a rewatch of Boogeyman, not the new one, Stephen King, that came out, but the one that came out in 2005. Did you see that one?
So it's funny that I saw it when it very first come out, and
Mm-hmm.
I remember not liking the movie, and a lot of people did like it. I haven't
Well,
seen it since then.
Well, people had to like it because or at least some people did, because there was a sequel, 2 sequels. Of it,
There
which
was 2 sequels to it.
I haven't seen the sequels yet. I will need to check them out eventually. I just rewatched it. Yeah, I mean, it's not great. I mean, it's really fast cut pace kind of stuff, and the CGI really doesn't hold up for now at all. You know, for a PG horror movie, I guess it's okay. You know, it's definitely not. I mean, it's not like Insidious, good. You know, for PG horror.
Yeah.
PG-13. No, but it's, you know, if you want to watch something PG horror, I mean, it's okay. It's not like I didn't hate it, but no, it's not.
Now I feel like, so you can tell me if I'm wrong, like, because I've only seen this one time back in 2005, a really long time ago.
Right.
But you have you got the main character, the guy. Is there any other actors in this movie, or is it like just basically him in a house? Am I right?
Well, no, I mean, there's a few. Yeah, there's a few.
Okay.
Yeah. Not too many, but there's a couple girls actually, and
okay,
and it does kind of go back in some with his father and stuff like that, but mostly it is him. Yeah, a lot of it is him in the house.
I just remember I was just like, it's really hard for me to watch a movie where it's just one, maybe 2, maybe 3 people in one setting. I'm just like, it's because I'm just all, me. It's got to really capture my attention. I guess I've always been that way, but yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think it's worth a rewatch?
I mean, I can't really say that it is. I mean, if you just want to put something on, yeah, why not? But there's a lot of other things you can watch better.
Yeah, so it makes me wonder. I'll watch the new one that comes out just because I'm curious.
Well, the new one's totally different. That's not even.
Have you seen? You've seen the new one?
No, I haven't seen the new one. No,
okay.
But that's a Stephen King story. That's nothing to do with this whole franchise.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Totally, yeah.
Okay,
totally,
so I didn't even know that. All right, it's my fun fact tonight.
Yeah, so that one's actually probably going to be pretty good. I don't know. I do want to see it. All right, up next was a movie called Descendant. It came out in 2003. Katherine Heigl and Jeremy London. A young novelist tormented by his family's history and haunted by the specter of his long-dead, more famous ancestor, falls in love with a woman, a distant relative of his ancestor, Edgar Allan Poe, and friends and family began to disappear mysteriously. You know, and this is one of those situations. I started watching this movie, and then I was like, I think I watched this before. But I just didn't remember it. It's okay. It's not nothing to write home about. And the next thing I watched was a movie called Roman. Have you ever seen Roman?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, a funny story behind Roman. Now you've seen May, right?
Yeah, I've seen May.
So you've seen May. All right, so May was written and directed by Lucky McKee, right?
Okay.
And starring Angela Bettis, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay, well, this is the sequel to that. They did this not long after May, and I'd been wanting to see this, and I never watched it before. So what happened is, in this one, they switched. Angela directed the movie, and it stars Lucky McKee.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lonely man's obsession with his neighbor gets the best of him, resulting in a murder romance. I liked it. I can't say it's great or anything. It was really low budget. You can tell. Kristen Bell's in here though.
Oh, wow. That's like left field.
Yeah. I was surprised to see her, but you could tell they shot it really cheap and everything. And again, it's there's not much to it. It's pretty bare bones, but there is like a reveal that it satisfied me at the end and everything. I mean, there's not like a lot of action stuff. It's pretty low key, but probably worth watching once. Just again, because if you like May, just kind of see the flip side of what they tried to do is a sort of a mirror thing there.
So I'd like to almost go back and do it. So I've seen May one time, probably about 4 years ago, but I do remember liking the movie.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times. May's good. May was definitely way more production value, bigger budget kind of thing than this one was. I think this one they just did sort of as a love letter, kind of just probably more for fun, really.
Okay. So maybe I should do that. Maybe I should go back and watch, do a rewatch of May and then watch Roman. Just watch them back to back.
Right. And again, Romans are very indie, low key kind of thing. So don't no big action and stuff like that and that kind of stuff. That's really all of the movies I watched. Again, nothing really to write home about. I did start watching a TV show. It's called Based on a True Story. Have you seen this? I
don't think so.
It's on Peacock. This is about these couple. They're strapped for money, and they decide, and they.
Oh, it's about true. Like they're obsessed with like true crime or something.
Right. And they hire this plumber, and they figure out that he's a serial killer. So they invite him or kind of force him to be on their podcast.
Oh,
it's true crime podcast. It's actually pretty funny. I liked it. I mean, it's not like horror really, except the serial killer is the only horror part of it, I guess. But and I mean, there actually are a few cool deaths in it. To be honest, a lot of them are just make believe, like they're thinking about it,
Oh,
but they're pretty cool. A lot of them are, yeah. But yeah, it's worth a watch. I binge watched every episode that's been available so far.
It's funny, like when our kids are like home for summer break, we broaden our horizons a little bit. So right. What I've watched the majority of is I've never seen Yellowstone, and I've binged watched season 1 all the way to season 5. Oh, wow. And freaking love it. I love it. It's so damn good. I love Sons of Anarchy. It reminds me a lot of Sons of Anarchy. So
okay.
It's not hard by no means, but it's damn good writing. Really good.
Okay. Cool. I did watch the Joe Bob did a presentation of the first Walking Dead episode of The Dead City, which is that new spinoff series with Negan and Maggie. So I watched that with Joe Bob and them presenting it. It was pretty decent.
Did you finish The Walking Dead like all the way through?
Every bit of it. I finished all The Walking Dead. I did not watch Fear of the Walking Dead or that other one that they did, and I probably won't even watch a lot of these spinoffs either, to be honest, as far as completest. But I did watch every episode of the flagship series. Yes. I
got pretty far into it. I think I finished the season, maybe 2 seasons after Negan was introduced. Mm-hmm. But it just was getting so repetitive for me.
Well, yeah. I mean,
so I was like, so I was like, damn, they're not even like fearing the zombies anymore. It's the damn people you got to watch out for.
Right. Yeah. That was. I mean, there was a lot of themes repeated many times in that series. I mean, there were definitely some lull moments. There was even times way before Negan was introduced when I was like, I don't know if I'm watching more of this because it's so the same thing. But I just kept going with it, and eventually, and there was like many periods where I would stop for a while and start again, kind of thing, picking it back up and but I finally got to the finish line. Yeah. That's all I got. So you ready to talk to our guest?
Yeah, let's bring him on.
All right. Sounds good.
So tonight's special guest is Dalton Turner. Dalton is a videographer, editor, writer, and colorist. What's up, Dalton?
Hey, man.
Oh, nothing much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, awesome. We got some exciting stuff to talk about.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So you I watched some of your films the last couple of weeks. And so we're kind of want to talk about those. And
yeah.
So for all of our listeners out there, where can they find your films at?
So the best place to find my content will be on YouTube, under Sloth Cinema.
Okay. And
we typically specialize in horror, but we're trying to branch out just a little bit from that. But horror will always be our roots. So.
Awesome. That's one thing I noticed. The first thing I noticed is like, oh, it's all horror. So only horror, right? Have you ever done anything else?
We've got a couple of dramas that we've written, and we're actually going to be doing a rom-com in the fall. But like I said, we'll always kind of divot back to that, horror skeleton, because that's what, made us want to start doing all this in the first place. And it seems to be what we do best. So we'll probably stick to that for the most part.
Oh, okay, cool.
How did you start this?
That's
Dalton?
exactly what I was going to ask too.
when did this come about? How did you get involved in filmmaking?
So it kind of came in waves. I remember I saw one of my friend's dads. He was making some short films and stuff just for like local festivals and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing him escalate, me and that friend of mine, we just kind of started to imitate what his dad was doing in a way. And it was terrible. Like everything we made was just hot garbage, but that was our learning curve. And then I kind of, got a little bit of a following at my school doing it. So we just kind of embraced it, kept doing stuff until finally one day we made a short that we just called Sloth. And that was our first like real short that we submitted to stuff, and won a couple little awards for it. It was fun to make, but watching it now makes me cringe. But that's why we decided to, name our more professional geared channel Sloth in honor of that first little video that kind of got everything started. So just over the course of like 3 or 4 years is we just learned, watched everything we made be bad, and then eventually it turned less bad. So here we are.
That seems to be everyone's story. I just watched a documentary on Tubi about horror movie directors, like low budget, and it's funny. Donald Farmer was on there, and that seems to be everyone's story. Like their first film was like you said, hot garbage, and they're like, but it's the fact that they did it, and it was just cost so much money and all of this. Everybody's story kind of seemed to be the same, but when you're so damn passionate about it, you just keep doing it, and it's all trial and error. It just gets better from there. Oh yeah, exactly. I couldn't agree more. Yeah. So let's talk about some of your films. So Sloth Cinema on YouTube. So I'll take a few that I watched. Your most recent one is Good Dog. Yeah. And that's kind of how your name was brought up to me. I was working I work horror conventions, little fairs and things, and three-legged circus oddities. And it was actually your mom came up to me. I was down on Music Row in Nashville, and she's so cool. She had like it's really cool hair, and she's like, "Oh my God, I love horror movies." And she's like, my son directs movies, and so he's only does horror. And she like showed me your trailer to Good Dog. So that's kind of how I was like, I wonder if he'd want to be on the podcast. So a shout out to her. Yeah, really. yeah, totally. So cool. So tell us about Good Dog, because that's your most recent. Am I right? Yeah, okay. That is our most recent. Okay. So we actually started making that one for the Nashville 54-hour film festival. Mm-hmm. And the first cut of that was okay. Like I was happy with it, but we had quite literally 2.5 days to write it, shoot it, edit it, and then submit it. So there's only so many things you can do with that. But we liked the idea and the concept so much that we actually went back after the festival and filmed added scenes and made an extended cut of it, which we just released about 2 or 3 weeks ago now, I think. And it was just leagues above the first cut that we got to see. But it was our, I'd say, most ambitious concept, but execution wise, I think we did as well as any of us could have hoped for. And the team was really, really happy with that one. It was a lot of fun. But and you were one of the actors, correct? Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Is that has to be difficult to act and direct? That's pretty hard to do both? Yeah, it's not the ideal situation, but I thought it was a fun character to try and play. And the way we had it set up was there were 7 of us. And the character's name was Boris Kalevra. He's like a big Russian dude, and
I just kind of, looked around. I was like, okay, who wants to do this? And no one raised their hand. So I kind of got thrown to the wolves on it just a little bit. But it's always fun to be in that position. Just tough to double down trying to direct and, play the co-lead role at the same time.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. And so I did also, Graven Image Part 1 and Part 2. So
yeah, I watched those.
Did you watch those, Mike?
Yeah, I watched those too. Yeah.
Yeah. So
these are found footage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So really, shot really well. Did you film that local to Nashville? Or you're not in Nashville? You're in Knoxville, right?
I kind of go back and forth.
Okay.
But yeah, we shot Part 1 in Nashville and Murfreesboro, and then we shot Part 2 in Knoxville and Murfreesboro. So it was a fun little mix up. But funny thing about Part 1 is it started out as a school project when I was going to MTSU, and we didn't have a plan. We kind of waited till the last minute to, for the assignment to be due. And we went out in the woods with a camera and we were like, okay, let's make it up as we go. So, I never thought that project would make it to the channel, but once we got, to editing and everything, I don't know how we did it, but we pulled it off, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out for it to be, spur of the moment, last minute assignment turned into, something for channel content.
Right.
So was it ad-libbed or scripted?
Completely ad-libbed.
Okay.
Me and my buddy Chris went out in the woods with our friend Taylor, and that's kind of like 3 of the core members, me, Chris, and Taylor of the crew. But we just went out in the woods and we were like, okay, why are we here? Like, why would it make sense for us to be here? And we kept trying to like come up with these characters and whatever. And I was like, let's just play ourselves. We're out here last minute for an assignment. Let's kind of hone in on that and pretend that someone paid us to be there. So, and we just ran with it. We just, we filmed it all completely linear, which is usually frowned upon, but
right.
Well, I asked if it was ad-libbed or scripted because I actually thought it was ad-libbed because the way you guys were talking in the conversations just seemed so natural.
Yeah.
So it actually worked really well. I think it worked really great. So did you know that you were going to do a Graven Image Part 2 when you're doing Part 1, or did you just come up with that later on?
Not at all. We saw how well the first one was doing when we first released it. And we all kind of just sat down and we were like, we need to expand upon that. People really seem to like found footage. So, and thus Part 2 was born. And it was kind of funny because we did Part 1 for my class, and then we did Part 2 for Taylor's class. And it just having that continuation. The professor was a little concerned about what we were out doing in the woods at 2 and 3 in the morning, but he was entertained, so that's all I could ask for.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What are you guys shooting on?
So we pretty much shoot everything on Blackmagic Pocket Cinemas. We've got 2 4Ks and then a 6K and a 6K Pro.
Oh, nice.
All kind of dispersed around the crew that we use for pretty much every shoot we do.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
I don't know the differences. Like, is that your preference?
Yeah, that would have to be my ideal preference. I shot on a 70D for a long time, but just once I got into the edit, I really like to do, colorations and see like how I can bring the film to life, not just through like, how the camera's set up and, all that good stuff, just with, colors and effects and how can I change the mood by changing different, pieces of it in the edit. And there's a ton of room for that using Blackmagic cameras.
Right.
Whereas your regular DSLR would not have as many options. So that's kind of why I started wanting to use them in the first place. And then the first time I did it, I was addicted. I couldn't put it down.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good. That's good. I have no idea. Like Mike knows the language, and I'm like, I don't even know anything about the different types of cameras. So, do you have any projects you're working on right now?
I do actually. We'll probably have it released at the end of the month. I'm thinking Sunday, June 30th. But it's called David's Not Real, and we shot the whole thing in one take. Just to kind of challenge ourselves, and we're doing it for a one take competition. So I watched it back the other day. It's basically in its final form at this point, and I am really excited about this one. It's more of a psych thriller, but it's kind of a slow burn at first, but then it takes a drastic turn, and it's something else. It's Black Mirror-esque, if you all have ever seen that.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, God, all in one take. Oof.
Yeah, it took 2 days of shooting. It's exactly 8 minutes long. But it took 2 days of shooting. The first day was it was just preparation, essentially, because we treated it more as like a stage set rather than a film set. You know what I mean? Like it was a theater play or something. But we didn't get anything shot that first day. it was all rehearsal. Right. And then the second day when we actually went to shoot it, I think it took about 14, 15 takes. But just that whole first day of rehearsal really helped us because, trying to shoot out of the side of a moving truck and do camera pass-offs and all that, it's harder than it sounds.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Oh God, I can only imagine. You're like, hey, we only get one take, so rehearse it and don't fuck it up, right?
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
So you make a lot of horror movies. So I'm assuming you watch a lot of horror movies. Are you a big horror movie fan?
Oh yes, I've since I started watching movies, I always tried to sneak and watch them. My mom wasn't too keen on it, but
but your mom told me she liked horror movies.
Yeah,
she just didn't want you watching them.
Yeah, that's what it was. But yeah, I think my first like real horror movie was probably the first Insidious.
Okay.
And that gave me nightmares, and I was like, "This is amazing. I need more of this." And I just kept going down the rabbit hole. I'd say the horror movie that stuck with me most, that kind of inspired me to start doing all of this, would be Hereditary.
Okay.
Because I always respected how just unsettling that movie was, because it doesn't really have any jump scares or anything of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Which, nothing wrong with a good jump scare, but that kind of slow burn, just having something like brooding in the background, that sticks with me a whole lot more than, someone jumping out from around a corner, things like that.
So would you say that Hereditary is like your all-time favorite horror movie, or do you have a favorite?
Yeah, I'd have to say that's probably my favorite horror. If you'd count The Lighthouse as a horror, I guess they're neck and neck. But yeah, both of those just stuck with me.
I have never seen The Lighthouse, but I've heard a lot of people talk about it. Have you seen The Lighthouse, Mike?
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's good. Do you think I would like it, or
no, I don't.
Okay. I was like, I heard it's really good, but also heard it's a slow burn. So Dalton, I'm a little I have a hard time. Like, I'm super ADHD. I'm like, if it's slow, I'm like, oh my God, I can't sit there.
No, I got you.
So you love horror movies. So I don't know if you listen to any of our podcasts or not, but we do this thing called movie quotes. I absolutely love movie quotes. I'm always walking around quoting, or just rattling off movie quotes. And so we like to play a game on the podcast.
Okay.
Where Mike's gonna rattle off some movie quotes, and you and I get to guess what movie they're from.
Sounds good.
Are you down? You want to play?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be really bad at it, but I'll definitely play.
So it's like I'm a movie quote person, but sometimes I can get them, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I need a hint. So it's actually harder than what you think it is. So
yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's do this.
All right, guys. There's 5 of these.
Okay.
No Googling. Put your phones
Oh
down.
yeah. Hey, I'm pretty sure
searching.
Dalton said he doesn't have internet service where he's at.
Oh well.
Yeah, I'm pretty remote, so no worries.
All right, good. All right, I'll throw them out here, and if you need a hint, we'll kind of steer you toward it afterward if you can't guess it.
Okay.
Number 1, here we go. Outlander. We have your woman.
I know. Okay, I feel like I just saw this. Let me see. I feel like I just watched this actually. Does that sound right to you, Mike?
You might have.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't know for sure.
It is a horror movie, right?
It is a horror movie.
Definitely.
Yes.
Okay.
Need a time frame?
Yeah.
Time frame.
Mid-80s.
Oh, mid-80s.
Does it have anything to do with corn?
It might. What would that be? What would that be?
Are you thinking Children of the Corn?
Yeah, I'm thinking Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn. It is. Yes.
Oh, is that it? Okay, I
That's
wouldn't
it.
guess that. Damn, that was a damn good guess. Do you know what's crazy is that Children of the Corn was my first horror movie I ever watched ever. I was like 3 years old, and I haven't watched it in years, but
it doesn't hold up.
it doesn't hold up.
I mean, it has its place in horror history and everything, but I don't know. I've rewatched it a few times, and I don't think it's as generally scary as we thought it was.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a remake in the future,
Well,
they
just made
remake.
it. Well, they've already made one remake, and it wasn't very good. And they just made another one. I don't think it was any good either.
Yeah, there was one just released, and I was like, "Oh my god, they remade Children of the Corn!" But
they've made like 10 of those. Yeah, they've made like 10 of those movies. I mean, but I mean, the first one's the best of the bunch, but still, I don't find it particularly scary now. Watching it, like I don't even see a lot of the parts that I thought were, But anyway, number 2. Here we go. All right. I see why you like this video camera so much. It's not quite reality. It's like a totally filtered reality. It's like you can pretend everything's not quite the way it is.
Videodrome?
Nope.
That's a good guess. Okay.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on this one.
Oh, let's see. Let me see why I like his video camera so much.
What's your motivation? What's my motivation? Yep. New time frame?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Late 90s.
So read it one more time, Mike, please.
Sure. I see why you like this video camera so much. It's not quite reality. It's like a totally filtered reality. It's like you can pretend everything's not quite the way it is.
Is it extreme horror?
No.
Okay.
What genre of horror?
Oh, that's a giveaway.
That's is it?
I don't know if I could tell you that, but I think you like it.
Blair Witch.
Blair Witch.
Oh, I don't even remember that quote from that movie. That's so funny because when I was watching Graven Image, I'm like, this kind of reminds me of like Blair Witch. It's so funny. Blair Witch was the first found footage movie I ever saw.
I think it was for me as well.
It was for most people, really.
I was gonna say I don't even know if there was,
other than Cannibal Holocaust, but that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I saw Blair Witch before I saw Cannibal Holocaust, though.
Okay, there you go. Well, there you go. All right, ready? Number 3.
Yep.
Here we go. This might be a little bit harder. I do all my little puzzles. I do crosswords. I'm lifting weight. I'm doing everything that I have read will help stave off the progression of this disease. Stave it off.
Oh. I don't recognize that at all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a shot in the dark and say Saw.
No, not
Is it a
Sloth.
zombie movie?
No. Mm-mm. No, you're thinking of a different kind of disease. This is an actual real disease.
Oh, okay.
Time period?
Wait, what's that? Oh, time period. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're good.
2014 is the year.
Ooh, these are hard tonight, Mike.
All right. So you want some clues? You want some hints?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is technically a found footage movie. Technically. Although they don't really find the footage, but whatever. It is a found footage in that style. It's one of my favorites. We have talked about it before, Bridget.
Oh my gosh, you have a lot of we talk about. Do you know how many movies we've talked about in the last few years? Like,
yeah. The main word to focus the progression of this disease. I do all my little puzzles, I do crosswords, I'm lifting weights, I'm doing everything I can. Red will help to stave off the progression of this disease, stave it off. Think of a found footage movie where there is a disease involved. You want the disease?
yeah.
Alzheimer's.
Oh my gosh, it's still like I'm still drawing a blank on this one.
Ooh, does it have? Hold on, I don't want to ask like a super giveaway question again, but I can't think of the name.
It's okay.
Of it.
You just go ahead and ask.
Does it have the main villain from the first Avatar in it?
Oh, what?
Okay, yeah, that's not it. I'm thinking of something.
I don't think so. But then again, could be, maybe. All right,
Yeah.
so let me read you. Okay, here we go. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Here is the synopsis. An elderly woman battling Alzheimer's disease agrees to let a film crew document her condition, but what they discover is something far
Is
more
it The
sinister
Visit?
going on.
The
No.
Visit?
Mm-mm.
Well, that sounds like The Visit, doesn't it?
No.
No, that's later in 2014. It was Alzheimer's. Is it the Haunting of Deborah something? Or
Yeah, you're there. What is it?
is that it?
Yeah. It's not called The Haunting. It's called it's not The Haunting of
Is
Deborah.
it Deborah something?
Yeah.
Where
Deborah.
and she goes in the cave and I've only seen this movie like one time.
Oh, this is great. This is a great movie.
Is it The Taking of Deborah?
Yes, that's it.
The
Yes.
Taking of Deborah Logan.
Deborah Logan. Yes, I've only seen it one time when it first come out, so I wouldn't have remembered the movie quote. But
have you seen this movie, Dalton?
I actually never saw it, but I recognize the name.
It's really good. I do recommend it. I think it's a really good movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down
I'll
and
check
do
it
a
out.
rewatch on it because I remember really liking it and I just never went back and watched it. So that's good. I'll do a rewatch on it.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Number 4.
Okay.
This is I think horror sci-fi. Okay.
Okay.
We decided to make it female so it would be more docile and controllable. More docile and controllable, eh? You guys don't get out much.
That sounds legit though. A woman make it a female so it's more controllable.
What movie did they make it a female?
I know this isn't it, but my brain immediately went to Jurassic Park when you first started reading it for some reason.
No, that's not it.
My brain went to damn Cyborg, and that's not even a damn horror movie either. That's that shit from the damn 80s. I don't
Cyborg, huh?
Yeah, crazy.
No. With the year?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Mid 90s.
Mid 90s. I'm pulling out the 90s a lot. Let's see. Damn, Mike, you gave me some hard ones tonight.
Yeah. You need the synopsis?
Yeah.
A group of scientists try to track down and trap a killer alien seductress before she successfully mates with a human. What's this movie? They did some sequels.
Is it okay, it's not a Predator movie. Is it
No.
the Splice or
It's not Splice, but you're in the ballpark.
I'm in the ballpark. Okay.
I was thinking Alien, but I feel like that's not it.
I said Predator, but I was
No,
thinking Alien
no.
versus Predator, but I knew
No.
that wasn't it.
You're both all around it. It's like right there. It's like in that genre.
Species.
Species. There you go.
Oh, okay. Species. I've never seen that. How bad is that?
You've never seen Species?
No.
Oh my god! You got to go watch Species 1 and 2.
1 and 2. Okay.
Three and 4, maybe not so much. You don't have to worry about those, but 1 and 2 is good.
Yeah. Okay. I know that's correct. Like I've seen Splice, but I haven't seen Species. Okay, that's pretty embarrassing. And
That's
I just
okay.
admitted that on my podcast.
That's okay. That's okay. We won't take away your horror card just yet.
Seen bits and pieces.
I'm like, it's crazy. Like the last podcast, I was like rattling off. I was like, "Damn, it's so good." And this one, I'm like, it's hard. It's,
Ups and downs.
Yeah, it's all the horror movies out there. I'm like, God, you can watch like 50 of them a day and still not check all of them off your list.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, really. These are tough
Look,
ones.
I've been watching them for years, and there's still quite a few I haven't seen. So even like the big names, or whatever. All right, here we go. Number 5, the last one. Here we go. Worms driving my friends around like they're goddamn skin cars. People are spitting acid at me, turning you into cottage cheese, and now there's no fucking goddamn Mr. Pibb.
Oh, what is that one?
It's not Tremors, is it?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay.
That was my first thought as well.
Okay. Read it one more time.
Okay. I had worms driving my friends around like they're goddamn skin cars. People are spitting acid at me, turning you into college cheese, and now there's no fucking goddamn Mr. Pibb.
Mr. Pibb sounds good, don't it?
I think you watched this recently, Bridget.
Did I? Okay. What's the give me the time frame?
2006.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't that long ago.
I think I know it. Is it
Okay.
Slither?
Slither. There you go.
Oh, I don't remember that, and I did just watch that recently.
You don't remember that? That's like one of my favorite quotes from that whole movie. Like,
Is it?
Yes.
No, Mr. Pibb.
Yes.
That movie is something else.
I rewatched it because I remember loving it, and I'm like, damn, it's pretty out there. Actually, it's got some pretty cool body horror in it.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It is really cool. Yeah. Awesome. Well, that was good. That was hard tonight.
Hard got you out for game tonight. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm up for a challenge. I like it. So awesome. Well, Dalton, I appreciate you coming on, talking to us. So
I got one more question for you, Dalton.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
what's that? Go to the outro. So you're making shorts and stuff, and you're putting it on your channel on YouTube. Do you have any plans or any ambitions to do any features? Is that something you're thinking about doing?
As a matter of fact, y'all are the first to hear. We are writing one, and it's set to start production this year, the end of November, beginning of December. It's called "Cold Was the Night the Lanterns Went Dark."
Nice.
And it's kind of I feel like there's never been a good Bigfoot movie, so it's about a bunch of fur traders in the early 1800s that go up in some unmarked territory to make a map of it, and they have run in with Bigfoot, and it's going to be pretty damn scary. Like I gotta say, it's the writing so far is the scariest shit we've come up with, but it won't be out for a while. But we're starting it this year, so
very cool. Yeah. Awesome.
That is awesome. And you are right. I cannot think of not one Bigfoot movie that I liked horror, anyways, because we're not going to count here.
The Legend of Boggy Creek.
I haven't seen that. I don't even know what it is. The Legend of Bobby Creek, huh?
Boggy Creek, yeah, it's like the old school kind of documentary style.
I don't think I've seen that one either.
I'm like, I haven't even heard of it.
You guys have to watch that one. It's pretty good. I mean, it's not like super scary or anything, but it looks more realistic. You know, it's kind of like the way they used to do movies, like they did the old Faces of Death. You know, where they kind of made it like documentary style, where it looked more real. This one was made like that, and so it was like a lot of narration mostly, but pretty good, cool shots though. Yeah, it's from the 70s. Check it out.
Oh, okay. All right. That's good to know.
Yeah,
but
I'll have to watch that.
yeah, for sure. Cool. All right. Good information. Thanks, Mike.
Sure.
All right, cool. Thank you, Dalton. So we're check out Sloth Cinema on YouTube. And Dalton, if listeners want to check you out, can you be found on social media?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I don't really use it as much, but I usually check my messages on there like once a month or so.
Okay.
But yeah, my Instagram is not Dalton Turner, or just Sloth _cinema. One of those two. Those are the two the ones I use the most.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me. I had a lot of fun.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah, man, we appreciate it, and good luck in the future.
Hey, I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks.
Have a good one.
Okay.
All right, take care.
Bye.
All right, Dalton Turner.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades, filmmaker.
Yeah. Awesome.
Coming out strong. All right.
Yeah, and he's got some new exciting things coming out, so that's awesome.
All right, sounds good. Very cool. All right, you got anything else?
Man, I think that's all I got for you tonight.
Awesome. All right, well, until next time, stay.
Hello, kitties. Stay hardcore.
That is so. It sounds so legit. I can't stop laughing. That is definitely the way to wrap up the podcast.
I'm gonna start talking that way.
Yeah, you should.
Tonight I watched an episode of ER.
That is so. Wait, let's see if we can make it to an entire podcast.
There's no way. There's no way.
You'll be like, I feel like I just smoked a pack of cigarettes. Oh my god!
Right. All right. Until next
time.
Later.
Later. Keep it hardcore.
Wow. It's hardcore.
Nothing harder.
Hardcore Horror with Mike and Brigitte is a part of the Tennessee Horror Podcast Network.